The following is a special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and/or future. While some of you might be enjoying the March Madness on the basketball court, the madness in the American League West is kicking into another high gear as the Chicago White Sox make a return trip to California to face the front-running California Angels. And on Friday night, it was the Chi Sox that pulled ahead. Ron LaFleur got the White Sox on the board in the first. A RBI single in the third made it 1-0. Then Tim Foley, of all people, tied it in the bottom of the first with a solo shot. Then in the fourth, Carlton Fisk singled to score the bull. Greg Luzinski to make it 2-1. Then back came the Angels. Don Baylor hit his 13th of the year to make it 2-2. Then in the eighth, the White Sox scored 3. A Tony Bernazard double to score Ron LaFleur. Tom Pachork with an RBI single. And then the Hall of Famer Harold Baines with a sac fly to make it 5-2. Ron LaFleur goes 5 for 5. Kevin Hickey gets his second win of the year. Ken Forsch gets the hard luck loss. It's the White Sox and the Angels next on Retro Sports Network. Today, it's time for our lunchtime replay in our 1982 series with the Chicago White Sox and the California Angels. Today, from Anaheim, it's Richard Dotson going for the White Sox. And the ace of the California staff, Jeff Zahn, going for the Angels. On a Chamber of Commerce day at Disneyland.
Play ball!
That's right, boys and girls. How are you? I'm Ron Juckett. Thanks for being along. The American League West race. Well, the American League races are giving you what we'd expect in a 1982 replay. Both divisions are within 2 games. Baltimore and Detroit are within 2 games of each other, and you'll see them play next weekend, or next week here on this very replay channel. But today the focus is on the American League West and the California Angels and the Chicago White Sox. The Angels are 40-24. They hold a 2-game lead over the second-place White Sox, who are 37-25. If it really does come down to these 2 teams in September, the White Sox have something the Angels don't have, and that's a good bullpen. You know that the White Sox won the division in '83. The Angels won the division in '82. So the White Sox being here in the race is not all that much of a surprise. What is a surprise is just how well they're playing. And if you're wondering who takes over at third base for Chicago with Jim Morrison gone, remember, he walked it off last week against California. It's Aurelio Rodriguez. So let's get to it. Let's play some baseball. And as I said, as I go to the chat, it is a beautiful afternoon here at Disneyland. 6-mile-an-hour wind, 73 degrees, and quite clear. Bobby Catalano, Dave Gardner, how are you? Richard 280Z Dawson, according to Baseball Demos. How you doing? Kenny Castro, Kurt Bergman. Go Sox, Trot Fan 879. What? I hit one too many buttons. And so these are the stakes in the American League West. You saw the National League play, saw everything if you weren't with us last night. California has lost 2 in a row. The White Sox have cut their winners last night. The lead is now 2 games again, and no one else is really within shouting distance in the American League West. Oakland, Seattle, and Kansas City can make some noise. Seattle, in fact, has won 5 straight. But it really, right now, is California and Chicago. In the East, Detroit and Baltimore play the next 2 weekends. I'm not sure how many of those games you'll see, but that is such a big series. And in the National League, if you were with us last night, the Expos have won 4 straight. Their lead over Philadelphia now is 5 games. So on to the task at hand. We have no picture for Jeff Zahn. He must have not liked baseball cards that year. But the Angel ace is 9-1 with a 3.28 ERA. This is his 14th start of the year. And his last start was last Sunday at Comiskey Park against these White Sox. 6 1/3 innings, 7 runs, or 7 hits, 5 runs, all unearned. That's a giant bagel in that ER column. He walked 2 and struck out 9, so he's allowed 108 hits in those 93 innings, 5 homers, 40 runs, 34 earned. He walked 26 and struck out 34, and as I said, 9-1 and cruising along to be the starting pitcher for the American League in the All-Star game in 3 weeks. Here's a lineup he will face. Ron LaFleur, who went 5 for 5 last night, leads off in center field. Tony Bernazard, who has excelled on stream games in this replay, will bat second and play second. Steve Kemp, will hit third and play left. Greg Luzinski is the DH for Chicago. He cleans up. Tom Paciorek will play first and bat fifth. Mark Hill will catch. Carlton Frisk is mad at me and never catches on Saturday afternoons. Harold Raines is the right fielder. He'll bat seventh. Rodriguez, the third baseman, will bat eighth, and Billy Allman, the shortstop, will go ninth. And the Sports Time Machine, how are you? Happy Strap Madness Day to you, too. And Seth Ross, how you doing, buddy? And yeah, Ichiro Suzuki, I thought he was going to retire at the end of the game today, and that's it. So it was an amazing career. And DJ John 444, and if you're watching, say hi in the chat if you haven't already. Okay, defensively for the Angels, it is Brian Downing in left. He's a 6 and a 3. Fred Lynn in center, a 7 and 5. Reggie Jackson, a 3 and 6 in right. Doug Gasinse at 9 and third. Tim Foley is 6 at short. Bobby Grinch is 7 at second, and Ron Carew is a 7 at first. With Bob Boone at 10 and a 9 behind the plate. LaFleur isn't really a great bunter without runners on, so we'll pitch him straight up. Zahn is ready. And this game starts with a ground ball to Foley. A fine play, a long throw, and LaFleur beat it out. So Ron LaFleur is on with a single, and that's how this one starts. Tony Bernazard at 254. 4 homers and 27 RBI. I don't know what he's done exactly on the games that he's had here on this replay, but my God, he just makes a big play every time. Pitch to Bernazard, ground ball to Carew, to Foley for 1, and they're not going to throw. LaFleur didn't make the roll block, but Bernazard motored right down the line, and there's 1 away. For Steve Kemp at 265, 7 homers and 30 RBI. Dawn's ready, and Kemp lines that one right to Foley for the out. In fact, that's a web chip. He got up, he leaped up like Magic Johnson going for the dunk, and skied to get that one, and there's 2 out. That brings up Greg Luzinski at 295, 6 homers and 35 RBI. Goes on, 2 out, runner on first, top the first. Here's the pitch, and there's a high fly ball, left center. Lynn to the track, makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. Half an inning in the books. White Sox, nothing. Here come the Angels. That's right, beware of the Bobby. Sounds like I'm admonishing a London cop. So Richard Dotson is on the hill for Chicago. He is 6 and 3 for the Chi Sox with a 3.54 ERA. This is his 13th start. In 76 innings, he's allowed 74 hits. His last start came last Friday night against the Angels. 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, all earned. He walked 4 and struck out 5. In the loss, only his 3rd loss of the year. So in that 76 1/3 inning, 74 hits, 7 homers, 34 runs, 30 earned. He's walked 18 and struck out 45. The lineup he'll be facing is, how you doing? What's ladies in sports? And Rob Brian Downing leads off in left field. Rod Carew will hit second. Don Baylor is your DH. He will bat third. Reggie Jackson will stir the drink, cleaning up. Bobby Gritch, or the Gritch who stole on Christmas, will bat fifth. Freddie Lynn is your center fielder. He'll go sixth. Doug DeCinces will bat seventh. Tim Foley eighth. And Bob Boone, the catcher, ninth. Jeff's on through 12 pitches in his half of the first. You know, I said it came out as Dawson. It is Dotson, as in the car, not Dawson, as in, well, some of us remember him from Hogan's Hero. By the way, Sports Time Machine has started his Strap Madness tournament. I believe he's got 4 or 5 games up already, and will be playing 16, I think, today in total. And Rob is doing his test runs for our YouTube Racing League, which I'm a part of, using Red, White, and Blue Racing. So check out those 2 channels for all sorts of great entertainment. Downing comes in at 257, 13 homers, 29 RBI. And Dotson delivers a ball 4. Rio pitch lost him. And then he'll bring up Rod Carew at 341, 2 homers and 21 RBI. He struck out the scant 17 times in 208 at-bats. Downing will on first. Pitch from Dotson is a high fly ball to left center. Back goes LaFleur, and he makes the catch. So Carew got all of that one. 73 degrees. The wind's blowing in from right center at 6. And Carew, if there was not one, he probably would have had a home run there. Here's Don Baylor at 261, 13 homers and 41 RBI. Richard Dawson, of course, was the host and the running man. Sports Time Machine looking like Sergeant Schultz. And of course, Dawson was part of the original gang on the match game. Pitch to Baylor, ball 4. So Dotson running like a bad Suzuki right now. And then I'll bring up Reggie Jackson at 292, 17 home runs and 46 RBI. Runners on first and second here. And 1 out, bottom of the first. Here's the pitch. Reggie lifts that one to right. Back goes Raines, and he'll turn and watch it go. And Reggie puts a 3 spot on the board in the first inning. Let's watch it again. He just got Dotson hung that one over the middle of the plate, and Reggie just slammed that one into one of the bullpens in right field. I believe that's the Angels pen. Number 18 for Reggie, and a 3-0 lead for the Angels. Blank Jucket. Put into that what you will. Here's Bobby Gritch at 250, 8 homers and 34 RBI. So that big crowd here at Anaheim Stadium is already up and excited as Dotson's got to regroup. Here's the pitch, and that's ball 4. So 3-0 count. Dotson doesn't have much on it. Running around like a matchbox car that needs to be pushed. Freddie Lynn at 292, 7 homers and 23 RBI. Dotson delivers, and there's a ground ball foul, third base side. The car, of course, was spelled D-A-T-S-U-N. And so I'm sure Richard heard enough of those jokes. 0-2 the count to Lynn. Here we go. And there's a fly ball opposite field. Left field attempt is there for the out. Gritch will go back to first, and there's finally 2 out. How you doing, ID Jester? And Dale, just the start of things here. Reggie Jackson hit a 3-run shot in the bottom of the first. Here's Doug DeCinces, 315, 13 homers, and 85 38 RBI. Here's the pitch to DeCinces, and that's popped up. Allman moves over behind the bag at second, almost on the grass to retire the side. 3 runs on the homer by Mr. Reggie Jackson. After 1, California 3, Chicago nothing. Hope for those of you coming in that you're all well today. Here's Tom Wimpy Pachork at 340, 11 homers and 41 RBI. And so you give Zahn, who's looking for his 10th win of the year, a 3-run boost here in the first inning. There's a little liner right to Gritch, one out. And that'll bring up Mark Hill, who I think only plays on games that are streamed here. He's 7 for 31 on the year. That's 226 with 2 homers and 5 RBI. Yeah, that was fun. That was on ID's channel for a Baseball Preview Tuesday night. Part 2 of that preview is coming up next Tuesday night. And ID will fill you in on who he's got confirmed. Higher Ground Gaming, in fact, I know is confirmed for that. That's going to be awesome. Get him on camera. Hill hits this one into deep center. Back goes Lynn, 1 out, or 2 out. So Zahn working pretty well here. Here's Harold Baines at 232. 10 homers and 39 RBI. Zahn delivers, and Baines strikes out. Got him on a strike 3 looking on the curve. A 1-2 pitch. 1, no runs, no hits, no errors. 1.5 in the books. It's the Angels 3, the White Sox nothing. It'll be Foley, Boone, and Downing for California here in the second. Tim is at 293. 2 homers and 26 RBI. Pitch to Foley, ground ball to Rodriguez, over to Pachort, and that's an out. Bob Boone at 234, a homer and 22 RBI. Yeah, the Hall of Famer down on strikes. Dotson delivers, and Boone hits this one into right. Baines moves over to his left and makes the catch for the second out. And here's Brian Downing through 9 batters. Richard Dotson at 38 pitches. Inning and 2/3. The 1 hit, the homer by Reggie. 3 runs all earned, and he's walked 3. Downing was one of those walks that he scored his first time up. Well, ID's a good interviewer, and that makes it one of the reasons, DJ John, why they are so entertaining. Pitch to Downing is a fly ball to left center. Back goes LaFleur, and he'll turn and watch that go. And so the Angels are crushing it early, 4-0. That's his 14th of the year. And that was a no-doubter off the bat. That was hammered. That was up past the black. So 4-0 California. They only have 2 hits. But they've been productive. Here's Rod Carew. He's 0 for 1. Dotson's pitch. Here's a ground ball to Bernazard over to Pachoric, and that will retire the side. But the Angels get another run on a towering shot to center field by Brian Downing. 1 run on 1 hit after 2. California 4, Chicago nothing. Oh no, you're an expert. Anyone who plays these games knows about baseball. You might not necessarily know about the ins and outs of all the current teams, but you know the sport and you know the stories. Here's Aurelio Rodriguez. He's at 256 with 7 RBI on the year. And as Rob said, that ball from, I don't know if Downing shot went 500, but 405 was a little light. Pitch to Rodriguez. Struck him out. He got him, just laid a 1-2 over the middle of the plate, and Rodriguez just watched it. Here's Billy Allman at 234, 1 homer and 20 RBI. With view to the rear admiral. That knows his stuff. John's pitch got him. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. So that's 3 for Zahn. He's through 9 batters on 32 pitches in 2 2/3 innings. He's only allowed a 1 hit right here to Ron LaFleur. Ryan has reached base the last 6 times up. Zahn's pitch, there's a ground ball to Foley, better. Oh my goodness gracious. He went into a full dive, got the front of that jersey absolutely filthy, got up, threw from his knees practically, and retired the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. For the Angels, after 2.5, California 4, Chicago nothing. Ron McCon LaFleur. So next Tuesday we'll have the Dodgers and the Braves, even though the Braves are now almost in double digits behind the Dodgers. Wednesday night in prime time, Detroit and Baltimore from Memorial Stadium, and then Thursday's game is to be determined. And I'll tell you why after the top of the fifth. Don Baylor walked and scored his first time up. Pitch from Dotson. There's a high drive into left field. That's gone. So Baylor pops his 14th, an opposite field job, and it's 5-0. The Angels have 3 hits. And they've all left the yard. That was a no-brain line drive laser beam that Steve Kemp had absolutely no shot at. So 5-0 California. Here's Reggie. He's 1 for 1. He bombed one his first time up. A 3-run shot in the first. Pitch from Dotson. There's a ground ball to Allman, who makes a nice stop by the bag at second over to Pachork for the out. So here's Gritch. Bobby walked his first time up. California homers by Jackson, Downing, and Baylor. 5-0. And Gritch will strike out. He swung on and missed. A 1-2 breaking ball, and there's 2 out. Freddie Lynn's 0 for 1. For most deja vu for your most recent Twins game, huh? Pitch to Lynn. Got him! He swung on and missed on a 2-2. But the Angels get another run on the homer by Downing. After 3, California 5, Chicago nothing. And Jeff Zahn can just kind of get in here and start relaxing, just get your work in and get the win. Here's Tony Bernazard, he's 0 for 1. Zahn's pitch is a little roller down to Foley over to Carew for the out. Brings up Steve Kemp, who's 0 for 1. Top of the 4th, 1 out, 5-0 California. Zahn's pitch got him. 1-2 on the outside corner, and Zahn licks his lips. That's 4. And that'll bring up Greg Blazinski, who is 0 for 1. Pitch from Zahn, and there's a chopper down to Gritch on the grass almost, over to Carew for the out. And we're talking about stats for the 99 replay, or 89 replays that both David, his name is David. It's David, Ron. Ron, it's David. Stats with some of the players that's been very impressive as far as inside pitches close to light. No, I don't mind APA. I play different versions of it, maybe not the APA version of APA. Here's DeCinces. Doug is 0 for 1 as Dotson starts his half of the 4th inning. It was funny. You mentioned that, David. It was Gubas's wedding anniversary a couple days ago. And so someone reposted it on Twitter, and I had a good laugh at Heidi's expense. We love you, Kirk. Pitch to DeCinces. There's a little liner to left. Kemp is there for the out, 1 out. For Timmy Foley, who's 0 for 1. Yes, I would agree. The NP and G Plus and NP3, I think, are better versions of APA. Told you Tim Foley was 0 for 1. Dotson delivers, and there's a ground ball to Allman over to Pachork, and there's 2 out. So Dotson could use a 1-2-3 inning. Here's Bob Boone. He's 0 for 1. And APA Demos is a good channel. I'm subscribed to that. Here's the pitch, and there's another little runner to Allman. Long throw to Pachork. Boone doesn't have great wheels, and they got him. So no runs, no hits, no errors. We played 4 here in the sunshine of Southern California. The Angels 5, the White Sox nothing. And if you is this the friendly confines of a warm summer day in Southern California? Alexa, what's the weather?
In Bloomington, it's 44 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today, you can look for showers, with a high of 48 degrees and a low of 34 degrees.
And add 3 inches of snow to that tonight.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
It's okay.
Okay, thanks.
Alright, and to wait for the speaker thing to finish her light thing, or else you would think I'm talking to her. Top of short, 0 for 1. Mark Hill and Harold Baines to follow. Top of it. Here's the pitch to Zahn. Popped up. Boone takes off the mask, and there's 1 out. So Zahn is cruising. Here's Mark Hill. 0 for 1. Jeff delivers, and there's a fly ball to shallow right center. In comes Lynn, 2 out. 6 pitch at bat just to get 1 out. Harold Baines struck out his first time up, 1 of 4 by Zahn. And that's a base hit in the left center. Lynn got a late jump on it, rolls all the way to the wall, and Baines is on with a double for Aurelio Rodriguez, who was 0 for 1. He struck out. So the White Sox finally have a runner in scoring position. Both teams, between them, have stranded 2 runners before, 1 apiece. And Rodriguez will take ball 4. That was 3-0 pitch down, a 3-0 pitch down and away, and that'll bring up Billy Allman. Struck out his first time up, so you praise the pitcher for doing good things, and he poops himself on the bit. Isn't that always the way? Pitch to Allman. There's a little nubber down to Carew. Takes it himself, and that will retire the side. White Sox get no runs and 1 hit, no errors. Halfway home, California 5, Chicago nothing. We'll put up the in-game box score for you. We'll start here. And you can see the numbers. Now, the reason why we're kind of in an iffy point for Saturday games the next 2 weeks, of course, for those of you who remember, Wimbledon was on NBC for 1,000 years, and we're now up against, starting next week, up against the Wimbledon's fortnight. And so the games on NBC were pretty crappy. So we're going to play it by ear. Detroit and Baltimore, I know we're going to do some Friday night. They did not play a day game on Saturday. Milwaukee and Boston actually was the game I kind of have selected. But we'll see what Detroit and Baltimore do. You might get 2 from that week. And then the second week, it's really bad, the week of July 3rd. And Baltimore is actually in Detroit. So we'll see what we can do for that. It's also the 4th of July weekend. So lots of to be announced. But next week we'll have, here's the batting, by the way. Next week we'll have Los Angeles and Atlanta for sure. And then the primetime game will be Detroit and Baltimore from that Friday night. So the Thursday game right now is to be announced. All right, you got the game box score. He's Brian down, and he homered it last time up. 18 batters in. Richard Dawson, 75 pitches, 4 innings. All 3 hits are homers. He's walked 3 and struck out 2. Dotson's pitch, and there's a little liner right to Rodriguez, who snares it. 1 away. Rod Carew is 0 for 2. Kenny Castro loves his APA. The master game, I think once you get to know it, you know, they all become routine. But I think if you're picking it up out of the box, I think NPNG Plus is easier. Ball 4, Carew takes a walk. So full count was just wide, or just inside, and Rod goes to first. Here's Don Baylor. He homered his last time up. 1 for 1 with the walk. He scored twice. Here's the pitch. ground ball to Allman. The Bernazard for one to Pachorik. And they got him. Pitcher's best friend. No runs, no hits, no errors. The Angels still don't have a hit that's not a home run. After 5, California 5, White Sox nothing. No, good free games are. That NPNG Plus is good enough to charge for it. Don't let the free symbol scare you off. It really is a good game. Ron LaFleur is 1 for 2. Jeff Zahn threw 18 batters, 66 pitches, 5 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. As I said, LaFleur 1 for 2. Here's the pitch, and there's a chopper right back to Zahn over the Carew for the out. Yep. You all play different things. It's kind of like pizza. You're never going to get 2 people to agree that their kind of pizza is their favorite. And I don't care what you say, Chicago and Hawaiian are nasty. Bernazard is 0 for 2. Zahn's pitch, and that's right back to Jeff. Comebacker right to him, over to Carew for the out, 2 out. So here's Steve Kemp. He has struck out. He's 1 for 2. I play spreadsheet games. It costs me internet. I already told you what Kemp was doing. Zahn delivers, and there's a fly ball to right center. Back goes Lynn, and he makes the catch. And that's it for Dodson. Well, we'll park that car in the garage. Here comes Chico Escaraga. 5.5 in the books. Angels 5, White Sox nothing. And Chico is 2-0 on the year with 2 saves and a 1.93 ERA. This is his 20th relief appearance to go along with 1 start. His last appearance came last Sunday against these Angels, a third of an inning, 1 hit and a walk. So on the year, 37 1/3 innings, 25 hits, 8 runs all earned, 2 homers. He has walked 9 and struck out 23. And with 75 pitches on his dance card, he could go the rest of the way. You both have good points. Here's Jackson. He's 1 for 2. Reggie smashed a 3-run shot in the first. Escaraga is greeted with a long drive to the wall in right center. Baines got the leg jump on it, and Reggie's in with a double. And that's the first Angel hit that didn't leave the yard today. And so you gotta wonder, if George Steinbrenner was watching this, and we had featured the Angels an awful lot, how much do you think he regrets not signing a Jackson at least for 1982? Bobby Grich is 0 for 1, a walk and a strikeout. Alexa's not going to know the answer to that. So Grich is 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. And there's into left field, that's a base hit. Reggie will round third and hold. And the proper answer to that, Dave. Oh, I did not have game. It's a sweep. It's a 4-game sweep. I don't even need to ask. I'm pitching game 1 and I'm pitching game 4. And I'm sending Mr. Koufax back to his back to basketball camp. Here's Freddie. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Escaraga pitches, and there's a base hit in the shallow left center. Reggie's going to score. Grich goes to third, and the Angels starting to put it on. 6-0 here in the 6th. Nobody out for Doug DeCinces, who's 0 for 2. Don't forget tonight, it'll be the original Grognard on the Ron Juckett Show, 8:15, 8:30, somewhere along there, right here on Retro Sports Network. And ID has watched a life and death off video on Daryl Kyle. Yeah. Oh, really? How come? The Sensei's 0 for 2. Runners on first and third. 6-0. Angels, and the Sensei goes down. He looked at strike 3. Stood there like a Cardinal Juniors on the side of a road, and it's 1 out. Then Foley's 0 for 2. He could bunt here. Safety squeeze is on. The bunt is down. Pachorik runs in, and Rich will hold. That's a hold. They get Foley. Little move to second. And so it's a sacrifice, not a squeeze. It goes on the card. It goes on the card 3-4. So Bob Boone is 0 for 2. Escarado 1 out away from getting out of this jam. 6-0 Angels, bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. Chopper down to Rodriguez, over to Pachorik, and that retires the side. The Angels put on 1 more on 3 hits and no errors. 6 in the books here in Southern California. The Angels 6, the White Sox nothing. The wife is going to work. Leave the door open. Yep. ID, the good thing though about the APA market is there are lots of cards available, and you wouldn't necessarily have to pay full price for an old receiver. No, Reggie wouldn't be worth $500 million now. He was a good home run hitter, a good clutch hitter, but he was a terrible defender. Never hit for average and struck out way too much. And I miss Reggie Bars. Hated the Yankees, but I love the Reggie Bars. Here's Greg Luzinski. He's 0 for 2. Pachorik and Hill to follow. Top of the 7, 6-0 California. Son's delivery. Luzinski slaps that one all the way to the wall, left center. He's going to get 2. Slides in, safe. So Pachorik is up. Luzinski's on base. 3rd hit for the Chi Sox. Brings up Wimpy, who's 0 for 2. I think we said that already. Zahn's pitch, and there's a high fly ball to left. That goes Downing in the corner, and it's off the wall. Luzinski will score. Pachorik is on with a double, and Chicago's on the board 6-1. Brings up Mark Hill. He's 0 for 2. No, replays pitching's a little bit different. And Strat's pitching and APA's pitching it's like comparing, kale to potato chips. You can like one, but you're not necessarily going to like the other. Zahn delivers, and Hill hits this one into left center field. Pachorik rounds 3rd and will hold. And so it's runners on the corners. Nobody out for Harold Baines. He's 1 for 2. He has doubled and struck out. Oh, pricing-wise, yeah, they're pretty much all the same. They're pretty much all the same. And of course, if you get a modern season, there's 30 teams. And so, if at 30 cards a run, without the extras, and if you're going to do an as played, you got to get all the cards. They're all destined to be computer things, unless you really want to do that. And hey, if you're going to do that, you might as well just crank out the money. No problem. That's how I told you what Baines did. Pitch from Zahn, and there's a little liner in the left. Downing is there. Pachorik tags. Here's the throw. Not in time. Pachorik beat it out. Scored easy. Boone kind of had to go up the third base line to get it, and with 1 out, it's now 6-2 here in the 7th. So Zahn still has a healthy lead. He's only at 84 pitches. 1 out for Rodriguez, who is 0 for 1. He has walked and struck out. Pitch, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. Down the corner past the Sensei. Hill will hold at 3rd, and Rodriguez has a double, and Zahn is getting Christmas treed here in the 7th. Brings up Billy Allman, who's 0 for 2 with the strikeout. 55 isn't bad. So that's cards and dice. pitch from Zahn. It's ball 4. And now they're going to go have to check Zahn as Ron LaFleur comes to the plate. They're loaded. The tying run is LaFleur at the plate. And he's a Christ, no. I mean, goodness gracious, great balls that broke legally. So if you're looking for a reliever now, it's Hassler and Goltz. But do I make the move now? Is the question. And Zahn is not tired. So Mock's going to stick with him a little bit longer. They're loaded, 1 out. Hill on third. Rodriguez on second. Allman on first. Zahn delivers. Struck him out. An 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. And Zahn takes a big sigh on the mound. Here's Bernazard. He's 0 for 3. Zahn threw 28 batters, 95 pitches, 6 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and both the runs are earned here in the 7th. He's not out of it, but he's a lot closer. And Bernazard, ground ball to Foley, throws it across to Carew, and they get out of it. Not before the White Sox at least make this a game. 2 runs on 4 hits and no errors. Time to stretch here in Anaheim, California 6, Chicago 2. You'd like replay. You know, I like replay. It's everything the Apple Master game should be. There's rules for everything. So if you're looking for a quicker play game, I would not recommend it. But the replay games I've played on the computer, I've enjoyed. Brian Downing, Rod Carew, and Don Baylor will bat here in the bottom of the 7th against Chico Escarraga. Working the 2nd inning. Downing pitch to Downing, a strike 3, throw down to Pachort, got him. So we looked at it 2-2, they got away from Hill. And there's 1 out. Rod Carew is 0 for 2 with a walk. And yeah, you can't see the extra PC engine. Oh, San Diego gets Cueco. That's a hell of a deal. If you notice above, I don't have the mouse pointer on. If you look up between the Escarraga's pitcher and Escarraga's stats on the screen, you can at least see what the game is projecting an at bat to be. So if you imagine that 1,000-sided die or 310-sided die, you can kind of see where it's going. You can see the walk, strikeout, and extra base hit percentages and the batting average. That's as close as you're going to get. Pitch to Carew is a ground ball to Rodriguez, who comes in by the bag. A long throw to Pachort for the out. And a great play by Rodriguez, and there's 2 out for Don Baylor. 1 for 2 is Don. He had a long home run and has scored twice. Also walked, so he's got 35 runs on the year. Now that's Escargot. My youngest sister loves escargot. Then again, she says the thing is, you know, garlic butter makes everything taste good. Just drink the garlic butter if you feel that way. Pitch to Baylor is a line drive to right center. Baines got there, started on that leg. That's going to roll all the way to the wall, and Baylor's in with a double. So 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the White Sox. They've left 6 on. With Reggie Jackson coming up, 6 runs on 7 hits and no errors for the Angels. And they've left 3 on so far. Reggie has a double and a home run. He's 2 for 3. 3 RBI and 2 runs scored. Escarraga deals, and there's a ground ball to Bernazard over to Pachort for the out. And so that retires the side. 7 in the books. California 6. I guess escargot would be a California dish. In French, Chicago 2. So tomorrow at noontime will be the Patriots Challenge. People want live sports at lunch, and so this week it will be the 1990 Bills and the 2007 New England Patriots on the Patriots Challenge tomorrow at noon, right here on Retro Sports. Oh, that's cool. Replay is a special set coming out of all 100 win teams that didn't make the playoffs like the 80 Orioles and 93 Giants. That's cool. So here's Steve Kemp. He's 0 for 3. Zahn is not given the fatigue warning, so California is kind of hoping that the 7th was an aberration. Pitch from Zahn is a fly ball to right. Back goes Jackson, 1 out. Kemp took him to the track, but there's no wind, and it's 78 degrees. There's Greg Luzinski. He's 1 for 3. Doubled and scored in the 7th. And there's a fly ball left center. Lynn, 2 out. Here's Tom Pachora. Tom is 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI. The best computer games that mimic board games are Replay and Strat. They are straight ports from cards and dice. Oh, MP3 as well. The NPNG Plus board reader is an Excel spreadsheet. There's nothing wrong with that. There's just like I said, with the exception of Chicago and Hawaiian pizza, you know, it's whatever floats your boat. Short draws ball 4. And why do we stop? Okay, so full count. Boone didn't like the call. Boone talks to Ronnie Millsap behind the plate, and Ronnie says, I heard that one, that was a ball. Mark Hill's 1 for 3. He's got himself a single. 1 on, 2 out, top of the 8th. Zahn delivers, and there's a long drive to left that's gone. That ball flew out of here, and it's now 6-4, California. Hill just crushed that one into the Ram seats in left center. And so that'll do it. That'll do it for Zahn. We got a pitching change. This game is coming to you from Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. Andy Hassler coming in for his 23rd relief appearance. 3-3 on the year at 3.72 ERA. Only has pitched once in the month of June. His last time out was a disaster against the Blue Jays, 2/3 of an inning on June 17th. 3 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and didn't strike out anybody. So in 29 innings, 28 hits, 12 runs, he's walked 16, struck out 16, and took the loss. So nobody on, 2 out for Baines, who is 1 for 2. He has doubled, driven in a run, and struck out. Hassler's pitch. Fly ball right center. Lynn has it, and the side is retired. But the White Sox have made this a game. Get those pads out. It might be cardiac time. 2 runs in, no errors. 7.5 in the books. It's California 6, Chicago 4. How you doing, Josters, cards, and coins? How are you? Rob eats about 17 slices of pizza a day. Could be quite healthy for you. That's a lot of pizza. But your bathroom is always oregano and garlic fresh, I would assume. It's Bobby Grits. Bobby's 1 for 2. Walked and struck out. I think I got all my self-promotion in, so OG tonight about 8:15, 8:30, and football for you tomorrow. 90 Bills, 2007 Patriots. Pitch to Gritch, and there's a pop-up. Bernazard by the bag at second. 1 out. Bobby Cardolano has a card question. My slices are the size of a penny. Here's Freddie Lynn. Freddie's 1 for 3 with an RBI single and a strikeout. Escarraga delivers, and there's a fly ball left center. Back goes LaFleur, and that's gone. So Lynn gives the Angels a major insurance run, and it's now 7-4. Escarraga hangs his head And that was a laser shot to what looks like the porta potties out. Nope. Out in dead center field. So Lynn hits his 8th of the year. And that's the 4th home run for the Angels. Here's Doug DeCinces. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. I don't know which are the shining ones there. No, I think she's talking baseball, actual baseball cards, not game stuff. I have a feeling the Patriots win big tomorrow. Jason Parker, who I haven't seen this week, is the one you want to ask about that. He nearly had nailed the score for that Miami-New England game last Friday. Pitch to DeCinces. There's a base hit up the middle. So a 2-out single, or 1-out single. That's a 9th hit for the Angels. Here's Foley. He's 0 for 2. There's the chrome ones are the shiny ones, Bobby. But they're expensive and are probably worth more. Now, if you get them kind of already warped, they're not going to be worth as much. Here's the pitch to Foley. Ground ball to Rodriguez. This might be 2. Bernazard for 1. Quick throw over to Pachorik. Call it 2. And the White Sox get out of it. Not before Freddie Lynn gives the Angels another run on 2 hits and no errors. We played 8. California 7. Chicago 4. But all cards are glossy to a degree, Bobby. But the ones that are really, really glossy are the chrome. And so I'd be careful what I would make up for those. Because some of them are cards in the multiple tens or hundreds of dollars. And some are real cheap. What you want, Bobby, I'm going to turn the camera on here. What you want, Bobby, is probably stuff from like 86 to 94. That stuff doesn't hold a lot of value. They made way too many cards. Some of them are shiny if you're just doing for general art stuff. Now, if someone wants a specific player, then go ahead and get modern stuff and charge them accordingly. But if you're just looking for stuff that's worthless to destroy and looks good, like I said, anything from that 86 to 94, 5, 6 range, and you're golden. All right, back to the game. So Hassler will try to get the save here. He does not have one. Rodriguez is 1 for 2 with a double. He has walked and struck out. I remember paying 20 cents in 1978 for that. Now it's $1.95 for your basic tops. Vance Law's going to pinch hit for Aurelio Rodriguez. Vance at 257 on the year with 3 RBI. And don't forget, in about an hour now, in real time, if you're watching this live, on demand, you'll know it. The University of Vermont takes on Florida State in a real-life basketball game in Hartford, Connecticut. That's on TBS, and they are excited here in Burlington. It's not very funny either, darn it. Here's the pitch to Law. Base hit to start the 9th. That goes all the way to the track. Vance is going for 2, and he's got it. So here's Billy Allman. Billy is 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout, and the White Sox start the 9th with some business. I'd be very curious to hear about Appa Hockey. Pitch to Allman. And there's a base hit in the right center. And so the tying run is now at the plate for LaFleur. They come to get Hassler, and now what do you do? You bring in Dave Goltz to get the save. I'm telling you, this Angel bullpen is terrible. Pitching change en route from Anaheim Stadium. It's 7-4 California. And so Dave Goltz, who came on May 25th, takes his 5th relief appearance. He is 0-1 with the save with an ERA of 4. This is his 5th appearance. He last pitched on Thursday, 2 1/3 innings against the Blue Jays. Allowed a hit, a walk, and a strikeout. So he's not allowed a homer. He has walked 5 and struck out 6. Goltz and Zahn were teammates with the Twins in the late 70s, and Goltz was the ace. So nobody out, runners on the corners for LaFleur. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. They're loaded for Bernazard. Watch out. Get the paddles ready. It's cardiac time. Tony is 0 for 4. He is grounded out 3 times. And the Angels would take a ground out here for sure. Goltz's delivery. Ground ball right to Goltz. They're going for 2. Gritch at second for 1. Over to Carew. Do they get 2 for the price of 1? Yes, they do. So Alden goes to third, and Steve Kemp leads the tying run at the plate. But you trade a run for 2 outs 97% of the time. So here's the ball game. It's Kemp. He's 0 for 4 with the strikeout. He Goltz, yeah. That or he had a very good time eating some Taco Bell, one of the two. Yeah, the Mark Czar, by the way, is the master of APA hockey. I've never seen it actually played. That's my version of fitness, Dave. That's how I became a diabetic at 30 years old. Pitch to Kemp. Got him, and the ball game is over. He swung on and missed an 0-2 curveball, and the Angels survive 7-5. And so there you have it. A huge win for the Angels. They go take a 3-game lead now in the American League West. A lot of it on home runs. Reggie Jackson with a 3-run shot in the first. Brian Downing, Don Baylor, and Freddie Lynn all had solo shots. But the White Sox tried to force it back, including a 2-run homer by Mark Hill in the 8th. And that'll do. So Jeff Zahn goes to 10-1 on the year. 7 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. The homer, a walk, and 3 walks and 5 strikeouts. Andy Hassler gets the hold. And Dave Goltz worked around a walk and a huge double play in the 9th to get out of it. Richard Dotson takes the loss. He goes to 6-4. Chico Escaraga pitched well. Well, kind of. Gave up 2 runs in 3 innings. For the batting heroes, Mark Hill goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. And Reggie Jackson drove in 3. Player of the game, of course, is Reggie Jackson. So, there you have it. Let me play the rest of Saturday for you. And then we'll go through some stats and delete some. We'll go through it. Don't forget to hit that like button. Who paid Reggie? Baylor, I thought, was pretty happy. All right, there's always too many projects. Other scores: Phillies 5, Pittsburgh 2. Ed Farmer goes to 2-1 on the year. Mike Schmidt, 2 homers in the game. He now has 23 on the year. Reds beat the Dodgers 4-3. Valenzuela takes a loss. He goes to 10-3. Texas downs Minnesota 10-2. John Matlack goes to 2-6. Toronto shuts down Oakland 1-0. Jim Clancy goes to 9-7 on the year. The night games: Atlanta 9, San Francisco 5. Ricky Mailer goes to 6-4. Joe Morgan, a stolen base and 3 walks. Milwaukee shuts down Detroit 9-0. Moose Haas gets his 5th win of the year. Jack Morris falls to 8-4. Boston beat Cleveland. Woohoo! 7-3. Alan Rainey goes to 3-2. Dewey Evans with his 13th of the year. Baltimore 9, the Yankees 5. Scott McGregor goes to 8-4. Ron Guidry 6-7. Len Sakata 3 for 5 with 3 RBI. Houston 4-1 over San Diego. St. Louis beat New York 9-4. Bobby Forsch goes to 6-5. George Hendrick 4 for 5 with 2 RBI, and Kansas City shuts out Seattle 9-0. So Creel gets his first win. And really quickly, there's the standings for you. The 8.5 in the West between the Dodgers and the Braves. They're our next game in this replay. Tuesday afternoon. Montreal and Philadelphia. 4.5 game lead there for the Expos. California's lead over Chicago grows to 3. And with Detroit being shut out by Milwaukee, Baltimore is now 1 back. And Toronto is 4. Milwaukee 5. So the American League races are the ones to watch, and we'll keep an eye on that for you. So Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Detroit and Baltimore are the first 2 games of the week, and then, as I said, Thursday's game is to be announced. OG Devin, the original Grognard, joins me tonight for the Ron Juckett Show. Patriots Challenge tomorrow at noon, 90 Bills and the Patriots for your football pleasure, and that's pretty much about it. I don't want to go too far in the future. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it as always. Sports Time Machine's March Madness continues on his channel. I'm Ron Juckett. We'll talk to you tonight. Have a good one.